Hey everybody, it's Cy again, and we are looking at my table today because I'm going to do a quick flip through of my sort of journey in bullet journaling. So, this was my first book. Let's get right into it. This is a really popular brand. It's Lectern 1917. It's a very popular brand, and I quite enjoyed it because it does have dot grid pages like that. So you can use it as a plain paper, a graph paper, line paper, whatever, because it will guide you. The only thing I really don't like about it is how thin the paper is. You can see the writing on the other side. And yes, it is blank for these 4 days because sometimes I didn't plan. And that's just how it is. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But I thought I would just do a quick sort of, I'm just going to hit bullet points today. So this is a typical half week layout. I liked to have half a page per day. So the main sort of anatomy of a daily for me at this point was the day of the week, the date number. The X's are actually hydration tracking because I want to make sure I drank my water. So every X stood for a 500 ml bottle of water. And the 5K, 6K, whatever it says, that was how many steps a day I took. I was trying to track that as well. I was tracking it on my actual Fitbit thing, but I like to write it down as well. Um, I was planning on compiling it into some kind of chart. That never happened, but I started out and I jumped right in. So that was my first ever sort of layout. I don't really have anything else in here that's of any particular note, although I did try other versions of this layout and they got a little bit more complicated. So this is the same largely. It's the day, the hydration, the steps. But then this little man here, he's got a code, and he stood for a bunch of stuff, basically. And if his face was colored in, and all these various things, I think the squares were for types of chores around the house. His little triangle was about hobbies, and his little circle, I think, was something to do with social media. It's in the index somewhere, but so I was doing that as well. As you can see, it's been colored in to various degrees on this particular week. I just really was, what you do when you start out bullet journaling is that you just try a few things for a month and you keep what works and you ditch what doesn't. And it is a journey and you can reassess whenever you want. If you start working on one day and you don't like it, then you can change it. It doesn't really matter. So this was sort of my learning curve, and those were the major changes in that one. And that one went from September 2016 through to, let's see, where am I? Oh, wow, the following April, June. So that one went from September to June, basically, that one. I got a lot of use out of that. It's just that it's nothing you want to see. So this was my following thing. My choice this time around was a day a page diary. And I wanted that because in numbering these things myself, I noticed I made a few mistakes. And I just think, you don't want to get your dates mixed up. So I tried my next diary as being a page a day diary. And I tried, oh gosh, where's my little, here we go. This is an idea of something I did. I had planned the following year by this time, by November. I'd planned on getting the Passion Planner and I'd ordered it and there were printables. So I stuck a weekly thing in there because I liked having a weekly spread by this point. Um, but this was just me, in October using it as a day by day. And then for the rest of it, all of my other pages, I'd start at the back and use the other pages for trackers and things like that. This one also was kind of unique in that it had a washi tape color code. So all the different things that I did, or all the different things that I kept notes on, they were all sort of listed here under the colors. And if you look at the edges of the pages, you can see that the color code tabs are there. And that was kind of helpful, but I decided after a while using this washi tape, it was really quite bad. And so it didn't stick very well, and I kind of got fed up with it. But luckily, this one was only with me from June till December. This was a 6-month idea that I did. So I intended to continue, and what I would recommend for people who like to have a page a day calendar is do use it for 6 months and then use the other pages in reverse from back to front for additional things. And then what you do is, instead of putting the page numbers in your index, you put the date, because it's a page a day, so that is the page number. So for example, I was tracking my wish orders on the page for 19th of March. So if I go in and I look at the 19th of March, here it is. Oh, I've ripped something out. The things I ordered and when I received them are all here. So that's what I was doing. I was also practicing my brush script in here and in the previous one. I wanted to learn brush script, and you have to do daily practice of your basic strokes. And so I went into any unused pages that I'd maybe been in a bit of a planner slump and didn't use. And I used them to practice my brush strokes on. So the paper isn't going to waste. So then came my long-awaited Passion Planner. Now this is beautiful. It's a reusable fake leather cover, and it's debossed. It's got a lovely design on it. It's really pretty. And I made my own little tabs with the months on. And the great thing about the Passion Planner for most people is that it has goal setting things on it, which is fantastic. It also has weekly layouts, and it also has your monthly calendar on it. So this is your month, so that's your February. And then after that, you've got your weekly layouts, which is great. And then usually there's a monthly reflection page where you can sort of think about how'd you do with your goals, what do you think you could do better, did you learn anything. It's very self-helpy and airy-fairy and nice. But the thing about this planner is, as much as I love it, and it's supplied sort of black and white so you can make it as interesting as you want to, for me, I just think there were no dailies at all. So I kind of need that, because the whole thing with the bullet journaling is it's got lists. And there are, at the bottom of the weekly layouts, there is like a to-do list, and you get a home and a work one. But there's only room for 4 items per 3 priority levels, and I have more than 12 things to do during the week for home and work. So that wasn't going to really work for me. The other thing that was a little bit of a deal breaker for me, and it sounds really stupid, but I've got a stamp now, a water tracker stamp, and it just wouldn't fit at the bottom of each of the day columns. It was just too wide. So I know it sounds silly, but I couldn't use my water tracker stamp, and I really wanted to. But yeah, it's minor. It's a very minor thing. Here at the back, that's where you put your trackers and your extra bits in the Passion Planner, because you gotta admit, I mean, for 52 weeks and month layouts, there's a lot of pages in here, and they are decent pages. They're quite thick. You don't really see things running through to the other side of the paper. I really love the quality of the paper in the Passion Planner. Not only that, it's a little bit more environmentally friendly as far as covers go because it's meant to just slide out and then you just put a new one in for the following year. They come dated and undated. You can have your weeks start on Mondays or Sundays, depending on how you go. Really great. And the company is very helpful and you get printables. So if you want any extra things to put in here, you can just print them off. It's great. This was one of my favorite trackers, and I actually did use it up to a point, and then I just kind of went, meh, and I really, that's something in me that I want to improve, that seeing things through properly all the way through. But I don't know, something about budgets, just I don't even want to look. I'm like, that's for someone else to look at. I just don't even want to know. But knowledge is power. And so we kind of categorized our spending, and I made pie charts every month, and there were more detailed things, but whew, you don't want to see that. I was at a point where we could actually save some money, so I made a little savings chart. Then money situation kind of blew up, and that didn't happen anymore. Um, and I don't know if you do this, but I tend to lose things, and then I'll come upon them whenever, like tidying up or something, and I won't remember that I have been looking for that for months. So I decided to keep a little list, a lost and found list, and that has become a regular now in my diary keeping, the lost and found page. I just used a stencil to just make little shapes, and I would write the name of the missing thing in the shape, and I would color it in when I found it. Also, symptom tracker. You don't want to see all that, but basically, I used like a yearly quick layout to like write down things that were going wrong with me. When I started keeping a diary, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I was keeping some pretty dark and vile notes in here. I just won't go into it. And if anyone knows me, you know I've got no filter. If you were with me here face to face, I'd probably tell you exactly what was in it, but not today. I also, this particular year, joined Scent Addict, which is kind of cool. They send you a sample of perfume every month, and I'm really picky about scents, and some of them actually make me have a migraine, and some of them make me feel like choked in the back of the throat. So I was trying to find out what ingredients and what perfumes have them and what makes me sick. And so as I was going through, this was my scent journey. So I drew a little different shaped bottle for every time I got something in, and I reviewed it a little bit. And I found out really none of those major market scents are really doing it for me. There's always something in it that just makes me a little bit sick. But my favorite, just for the record, definitely News Prodigies. I don't know how you say that. News Prodigies. Absolutely love it. It is the one. I like Bluebell flavored things as well. Flavored. Bluebell scent, hyacinth. But just really not a lot of like orchid, violet. They kind of make me ill. Don't know why. This is a page that I made because I was running out of pages, and I had these post-it notebooks, and I actually stuck a few notepad pages onto here, and this is what I call my landing pad. And this was because I go through a lot of lists for Unravel and Unwind, as you might guess, because I volunteer there. But they're not for keeping. They're like, you make the list, you tick it off, and you get rid of it. It's just to keep your focus while you're doing the job. It's not like something you'd want to remember in years to come or anything like that. So I would just stick them on there, use them, and then replace the paper when I was done. So that's the story behind the Unravel and Unwind list page. And I think I mean, there weren't a lot of pages at the end, really. Um, I took whatever notes I could on things, and but really there wasn't a lot of pages at the end. So that was the Passion Planner, which I had decided again not to rebuy. Um, and I just happened to be in WH Smith, and they had this thing where if you buy a card, you get a notebook for half price. And this one was just so cute. It's kind of denim fabric, and it's got this sort of embroidery design on it, and it's got some sequins, and it's just so cute and so nice and positive. And so I got that. And again, with the month tabs, because I really do love that. Let's have a little flip through here and see what there is. I had to make my own index. This is a thing, I'm back to almost where I started, because I had to make my own index and I had to number my pages. But I decided that I wouldn't number all the pages. I would just number the pages after I did the monthly and things. So I have my year to view there, and then I would start my month. And I would use the Passion Planner printables to set out my, or is this Passion Planner? No, this isn't Passion Planner. This is printacalendar.com. Okay, so printacalendar.com. So I printed these calendars and I just like washi taped them in. And then I would do a weekly spread just like the Passion Planner, except without the extra bits on the top and the bottom. Interestingly enough, though, I did not put my water tracker here because I was doing it here. And for some reason, I didn't use the water tracker. I used my little coffee cup stamp, and I used 4 of them. So I did that, and then I have some stamps down the side here. This was like meditation, exercise, how many Huel shakes I was drinking, because I am a hooligan. And this is the no fast food icon here, because I'm a bit of a junk food junkie as well. I swing between extremes. So that's what's going on there. Let's see. No, that's just another weekly spread. Don't know why I marked it. Funny that. So this continued. I have the weekly, and then I had the dailies after that. And look, that is my water tracker. So I did start using the water tracker eventually. But this diary, as much as I did need to keep track of a lot of stuff going on, I did have quite a few slumps. But for the most part, I was using like multicolored Bic pens for this, just to add a little interest to it. But I was really fully into the function. This, again, I got tired of the ink running through the paper, so I made these little slips to washi tape in. That was a royal pain in the bum, but I did it. And then I went into another planning slump and hardly did anything, and all that taping was just wasted, basically. I did have a few things, I was up and down with the planning, and I think it's just because the system just didn't inspire me at this point. I don't know. Maybe I was just like too busy to plan, which is silly, really, because the busier you are, the more you should be planning, to make sure everything stays straight. So this is my other stuff section, and I just thought I'd show you this as an example of another type of tracker. I was too lazy to get out my real art supplies and actually enjoy this, but the challenge was no cheese in January. My trainer at the gym, evil man, nice guy, actually, really nice, but this was torture, and all my nails broke off, and I felt really rubbish, because I guess my body just needs cheese. I can't explain it any other way. But I allowed myself to color in a hole on this Swiss cheese. Every day I did not eat cheese, and I did pretty well. Only on the 5th did I mess up and eat cheese, and I actually think it was an accident. It was really weird, like, oh my gosh, this is cheese. Aww, because I nearly did it. You heard it here first. Cy almost went a month without cheese. Never again. I'd probably give myself osteoporosis if I do it again. This is something that makes it into all of my diaries as well. This is my crochet project list. It's sometimes known as a WIP list, hashtag WIP, a work in progress. I have a lot of them because when I finish a project, I use the extra yarn for what they call a stash buster project, and those just hang around sometimes, so I have quite a few of them. And my finished objects I've put over here to celebrate. I believe this was the year of socks. Yeah, there's some socks. Where's some more? There's one sock, two. Made those, made those, made those. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow, 11 pairs of socks. And that's not all of them because this goes up to August of 2019. I'm still going, but from January to August 2019, from January to August 2019, I made 11 pairs of socks, and I still managed to do work on some other things. Right, so that's kind of all of the useful stuff I have to show you in this. This book lasted 9 months, 8 months, 8 months. And almost, I mean, I still had a bunch of pages at the end there, but for the most part, that one lasted me 8 months. And this one, because I was gonna try and excuse myself from what I just said, but I'm not gonna. Own it, girl. So this is my latest and almost to become my former latest diary. This one is from Scribbles That Matter. It's an excellent notebook. I cannot fault it at all. It's beautiful. It's got that pretty debossed sort of faux leather cover on it, but this is a permanent cover. So this is the book. So I can't reuse this lovely cover, but you know, it's sitting here all nice, and I'm going to show you what I love about this one. This one does have the numbered pages like that lectern does. It's got dot grid like the lectern does, but the paper is 160 GSM or grams per square meter, and I have managed to watercolor on it, and it doesn't run, right? I watercolored this October spread. This is my October monthly, and I watercolored it. And let me just show you the back. No sign of it. No sign that I've watercolored it. I mean, a notebook that you can watercolor in? Yes, please. I absolutely love this one. So here's what's kind of notable about this diary. My WIP list again, it continues. Some of it is the same as it was in this one, but I'm putting paid to that. Now I'll explain it maybe later in another thing, or you can check out my blog because my blog's probably got plenty on it, and my Instagram. So yeah, I'm sure that it'll get listed somewhere. So that's my WIP list, and then in addition to the WIP list, I've got a wanna make list. There's the difference between a WIP and a wanna make is that the wanna make hasn't been started yet, and I may not even have the pattern or the yarn for it yet. So I keep it here, and then I make it. So, oh dear, look, another pair of socks. Done. And then another pair of socks. Done. So that's the 13th, 12th and 13th pair of socks. I just can't stop. What can I say? But, you know, and I've got all these things that I really, really, really want to do. But I am doing something called the 100-day project, and I'm not going to start any new projects during this 100 days unless I get all my whips finished, and that's just not going to happen because I've got loads. Onward, I needed a new year spread, and I went back to my stamps, and I really took my time and enjoyed the process of this. And I used for the, I don't know if you can even see that because it's quite light color, but for the script for the months, I used a stamp set from Kelly Creates, and I've also used it for some of my monthly layouts, which I'll show you in here as well. But that's my yearly layout, and then I was doing January. I did January with my glass pen because I was just messing around. Really, really fun though. And again, the ink did not go through. Fantastic. I wrote my ideal week down just as a scribble because it was an exercise that was suggested by Kate Celine, who is an independent yarn dyer that I know. And I just thought that's a good exercise. I'm going to do that. My morning routine was this. It kind of still is that, actually, more or less. Hashtag goals. I do have quite a few things that I wanted to do. I'm not going to go over it, but there it is. And with one color per column, it's just a nice, quick, at-a-glance way to know how you're keeping up with things. And I planned an end of the month reflection, which I also loved about the Passion Planner, but did I do it? No, I just didn't have time, so I didn't include it on future months. Also, I just decided to just write the day stuff in as I went because I was just not, I just wanted to see how much of this notebook I would actually use if I didn't leave any blank space. So I just started planning as I went. So this is the lot. This is everything I wrote down and kept for a whole month. And then I started a weekly spread again, but I had plenty of time because it was just my Monday through Friday for this one because it was the end of January. I did have a lot of things to sort of plan out for that week, so I decided to use a week. Just kind of goes from there. February, actually, I wrote that myself. That's not the stamp. That's me. I got lazy. But I was enjoying using just plain ordinary markers and just coloring in. And I've decided on a sidebar for yays. Just, you know, my friend and I are talking about having ta-das instead of to-dos. It's quite a positive thing. So leave a space for all the great things that you said yay about in the month. Again, like this is the 3rd to the 10th, one single page. That week would have normally taken up 2 double pages from just for the dailies before. So I just wanted to make the most of this paper. My goals didn't get colored in February, and then I was experimenting with a new layout because I needed something daily, but I didn't need as much space as I did before, so I decided to have it again and do 4 days to the page. So I've got Monday through Thursday on this side, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on that side, and then if I needed any tracking space, it would be here at the end. And I've been looking into trackers, and I've been looking into planner stickers, and look what I bought. Aren't they cute? They're foiled, and are they hollow? Yeah, hollow foil, and they've got the days on it. And I didn't realize at the time you write the number in the little star. I just didn't really notice that before. But I bought a little set, and I thought those are really cute. Now, there's a lot of independent planner sticker makers out there. They're on Etsy mostly. And if you want a nice selection of them every so often to look at, check out Planner Boss Collective. They're on Instagram, and they have a website, and every season, I think, is it seasonal? I think it's seasonal. They hand pick certain makers, and they offer them all up on the page with links and bios and things like that, so you can get to learn about different sticker authors, yeah, different sticker artists, and they've all got sort of a different vibe to them, and you know that. But the one I got these from is Josephine Bow. because she is UK based and I really love Hollow and I really love her design. So I bought a few things from her, including these water trackers. They come 6 to a page. You need one a week. So 6 weeks worth of water trackers on a little sheet. Wonderful. And let's see here. These were stickers that I just had lying around that I decided to use. I'm glad because I really do. I love just putting together a new week with some stickers. I don't know what it is. Okay, it's like I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I love it. So that's the weekly water tracker, and then I will show you. That's March, and this is when the quarantine business started hitting. Oh dear. But I still had some great yays in March, and I did have symptoms, and I was tracking them. This is another way you can do your days of the week. Sorry if you can't see that very well, but basically, I scribbled with a light color marker, and then I wrote in sort of a messy, elongated script the day of the week. So I kind of made my own stickers without stickers, if you know what I mean. And these little things here are the daily water trackers. There's one for every day, and it's got the 8 little droplets on it that you color in. And that is really great because they're made for a different kind of diary called a Hobonichi. It's another brand. It's like Lecterm or Scribbles That Matter. It's another brand. They have very thin pages. But there are people who make stickers, and you can cover your entire weekly layout in stickers and use it. It's very functional, but it's also very pretty, and it can get expensive. But you know what? If it's a joy to look at and it makes you want to organize your life, do it. That's my opinion on it. And this is me getting a little bit wild. My friend Faye and I have discovered the wonders of fountain pen ink and bleach. And I decided, because I had this cool diary with the really thick paper, that I would sort of lay into the ink and bleach and see what happened. It does bleed through a little bit, but I'm not bothered. I mean, I'm using a fountain pen that's like scratching at the surface of the paper, and the bleach is eating away, and it really is quite rough. It's not too bad though. See, there's only a couple little dots. And this side's my fault because I didn't put the paper towel in between while I was working. But this diary, I've got to say, I think I may have hit my stride with this now. And one of the things that I did add later on, I don't know if you can see these lines, but they are not drawn. They are very small rolls of washi tape. They're narrow. And I believe, like the ones that I've got collected here, you can see that each roll has 2 colors on it because it's sort of where they cut the, it's like offcuts when they're cutting the individual rolls of washi tape off of a large roll. And it's what's left. It's roll ends, basically. And I've been using them. I got them for a very, very low price on Wish. I think it was like £2 for like 100 rolls, and that's including postage. And I've been using that to just mark out my days. And I think this is going to stay. I really do like this. However, I am coming to the end of my book. I've only got sort of 20 odd pages left in this book. Everything else has been written all over. So it is time to move on, and move on I shall, and you will see it in the next video. I don't believe I went on about this for a half an hour. If you're still here, congratulations, you are hardcore. But I am moving on, so I will be with you next time to start making things for the new one. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. So I will catch you at the next one. Bye bye.